So, the American Civil War, a conflict which saw well over 2 million Americans enlist in the Union Army to subdue the rebellious states, which is a big number, sure, but it also includes more than 76,000 Iowans. With a little south of 50 infantry regiments formed, as well as 9 cavalry regiments, 4 artillery regiments, as well as 1 black regiment, which was eventually redesignated as the 60th United States Colored Infantry Regiment, around 11% of the state's total population served in the conflict. Which is far from being the state with the most volunteers as a percentage, a false factoid I still see thrown around by people who really should know better, but it also certainly is not a number to scoff at. And while we're on this topic, another false factoid which I see people throw out way too often is that these regiments really didn't make much of a difference during the war. And that, ladies and gentlemen, could not be farther from the truth, because these men made a crucial difference at a variety of engagements vital to the success of the Union war effort, such as at Fort Donelson, Pea Ridge, Shiloh, Vicksburg, and Chattanooga, just to name the ones I've been to. Oh man, we really got off topic. Where was I going with that one again? Oh yeah, that's right. Despite the crucial difference many Iowa regiments made during the war, the one Iowa regiment which seems to get the most press is the 37th Iowa Infantry, which I'm going to go ahead and label as the strangest regiment in the entire war. Side note, I'm sure you can make a convincing argument for just about any other regiment to receive that title, but screw you, we're on the internet. Accountability's dead. So, why exactly do I say that this is the strangest regiment in the entire war? Well, that's because the quirk of the 37th Iowa Infantry was that it was composed entirely of old men, aka ages 45 plus, because remember, we're currently in 1862, and life expectancy is down the toilet, in the sewers, and talking with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So 45 is actually a pretty long and decent life. Gaining the nickname the Greybeard Regiment due to its geriatric nature, the 37th Iowa served 3 major roles during the war. First was as a propaganda tool for Governor Kirkwood and later Governor Stone to help boost sagging enlistment numbers in the state. I mean, when Curtis King here is 80 years old and still wanting to fight for the Union, that should be more than enough to guilt trip any whippersnapper in the dying for his country. Second was to serve as the last line of defense in the worst case scenario of a full-scale Confederate invasion of Hawkeye State, given the absolute dumpster fire located just south of the border. However, given that the most action the state itself saw during the war was a rogue cannonball and 12 Confederate partisans, that purpose is kinda null and void. Speaking of which, I should probably disclose the fact that while picturing Old Man Jenkins storming the Confederate positions at Vicksburg is certainly an entertaining visual, it isn't quite historically accurate, as the Greybeards never actually saw battle during the regiment's 3 years of service. Now, yes, that's certainly a disappointment, but it does lead perfectly into the regiment's third and primary purpose: guard duty. Woo! First stationed in Alton, Illinois in July of 1863 and then transferred to Rock Island in January of 64, which was not a pretty place to be back then, let me tell ya. The Greybeards were subsequently tasked with guarding railroad lines in Memphis that July, only to be put back on POW duty in Indianapolis a month later. And then, because apparently the Army really didn't know where the hell it wanted the 37th Iowa, they were split up and transferred once again shortly after arriving in Indianapolis, with the regiment being spread out across the Buckeye State. Now see, this state of affairs continued until May of 1865, when, with the war effectively over, the regiment was reunited, sent back to Davenport, and subsequently mustered out of service. But if you think that's where the story ends, well, you'd be right. There's not really a moral to the story here. I just found this interesting and thought I'd share. Do you know that today is the 10th anniversary of this channel here? Cool, I know, and to think this was a dumping ground before my hyperfixations took over during COVID. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to playing Black Flag Resynced. I'll see y'all around.
I've seen those big machines come rolling through the quiet pines. Blue suits and bankers with their Volvos and their Valentines. Give us this day a daily discount, all merchandise. Raise up the